today we're going to be removing part of the old exhaust system that's on here and putting on the new Racing Beat exhaust that I ordered. So you can look down here and you can see that, oh, let me move my finger. That old exhaust right there is rusty as hell. And it sounds awful, and there's small holes in it, and you can hear it when you're driving. So I wanted to get rid of that, maybe quiet it down a bit too, because it is just ridiculously loud. And the reason why it's ridiculously loud is because of this custom job that somebody did. And that has holes in it, that has holes in it, and the headers have holes in them. I've got everything up to that point right there. So I have the headers and a pre-silencer. I don't have the connector or connecting pipe or the muffler yet, but those are gonna come in. I'm also gonna order some new hangers, but for now, I'm gonna see if I can't just take the time today, unbolt all this, get that off there, and then reassemble my new Racing Beat header and pre-silencer. And here, among other things, is the Racing Beat stuff. Go away. So, headers, heat wrapped, pre-silencer here, got all the necessary gaskets. That's not what I'm looking for. Where are you? Gaskets here, hardware and gaskets here as well. That is the Speedo driven gear. What's in here? That's right, more block off plate hardware for the air pump. Hopefully that helps with any vacuum leaks. Another gasket. Overall, should make it sound better, run better, generally just improve the ride. These guys don't look so bad. They actually look relatively new, so I think I'm gonna try to get those off first and those off first. Those just look awful, so they're probably gonna give me the most fight. But those don't look so bad, so I think I'll start it easy there. And then, I don't know if you can see from here, but it looks like we got one, where is it? 1, 2, there's a third one up there, and then we are missing the fourth one. I'm not sure if the lighting is good and you can see that, but I'm not sure if it's just a missing stud or what, but we've only got 3 bits of hardware holding the header on, and that might be a source of some of our noise. I'm really not looking forward to that bit. Nothing to it but to do it, I guess. Get out of there. Come on. All right, now 5 and 6, I can't really see from where I am right now, so I'm gonna have to venture under the car. It's held up by 3 different points of contact. I'm pretty certain it's not gonna leave me to die. Okay, there's 5. Try not to get rust in your eye. Challenge difficulty impossible. Okay. Now how the hell do I get to you? You're like in between all the things. I'm assuming I've got to get some kind of ratchet up in here. Oh, look at that ratchet. And what did I do with the... What did I do with it? Where's the 14? I don't want to crawl up. Okay. Dude, what did I do with the 14? It was like right there. Oh. Duh. Okay. Okay, that's on. Make loose. This is actually pretty solid hardware. I wonder how long that's been down there. It can't have been too long. That was really easy to get off. I hope the rest of it's that easy. JCD the What does that mean? Might have to do a bit of Googling later. Now, the last one is not like those. The last one is center top of the bracket, and it looks awful. I guess we'll see. It's gonna be loud under there. Why is nothing on this car easy? Nothing that should be easy is easy. Everything is stupid hard. So at this point, I've unbolted the headers. All right, the old gasket's still on there, but I had to unbolt the headers in order to drop everything down enough so that I can probably get either this cutting wheel or the Sawzall on the top side of that bracket right there, so I can finally remove the headers from this pipe here. And then maybe that amount of give will allow me to cut off the remaining bolt on the driver's side of that pipe over there. It's been really slow going, but I think I'm finally making some progress here. All right, so the plan worked. I managed to get everything dropped down and cut everything out. I've moved the old exhaust to the shed at this point and pulled out the new stuff. It's getting pretty late. I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna keep doing this, but I did want to show something that I figured out. I was wondering why there were only 3 studs. I figured maybe there was missing one. But upon closer inspection, it looks like the stud's in there. It's just liquid and then metal again. So there's no shot at getting a stud in there. And then this stud screwed out with the nut. So I think I'm just gonna reinstall it like that. You know, pretend I didn't see that. I sprayed a bunch of brake cleanup in here to clean off the surface. I think I'm just gonna, well, first I gotta get that deleted. So let's work on that. All right, so this doohickey's out. Just put that right there. I gotta figure out what this plate blocks off. I think I know. That's done. That was a separate thing. I think it's talking about this whole assembly right here, because this one and that one, it just looks like it would fit there. I want to say this whole deal down here is what is removed. Guess we'll have to find out. All right, so you can see right there that that blocking plate is on now too. It replaced this guy right here. Not a whole lot of gasket left on that. So it's just a little bit of cleaning up the engine bay. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this mess of wires yet. Some of them still look like they're functional, but you know, I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with these. Maybe pull up a wiring diagram and see if I can just cut some of them. It might go to things I'm never gonna use anymore, some more emissions equipment, you know. Anyway, I think tonight I'm gonna finish up by mounting the headers themselves. I don't know, maybe I'll finish it up. It's getting pretty late and cold. So kind of some scary news so far. This bolt right here, I can get this done. This stud, right? Whenever I took out the headers, which are over here, by the way, when I took these guys out, right there, when I started unscrewing, the entire stud came out with it, and I thought, well, you know, there's worse things that could have happened. At least it came out clean. And I was planning on just putting it back in there the way it came, fixing it later. That's no longer an option. This is why. When I went to do that and started screwing it in, righty-tighty became righty-loosey. And it's very clear that the threads inside the housing itself are worn out. So I've got my die set, tap set. Tomorrow, I'm gonna see if I can clean the threads up. Dealio to clean up the rotor housing. I hope that works, because if not, it's gonna be a big pain in the ass to rethread it, find a bolt, find hardware, and do all that, just so I can put on an exhaust system that doesn't leak and sound like shit. This car is turning out to be a lot more pain than it's worth. So it's the next morning. I had a bit of time to think about how I was going to handle the issue with this guy right here. So when we ended last night, it was around 9 at night, and you know, I was just tired of working on this thing and how much it had fought me. So a little bit of despair going on, but I think now that I've had some time to really ponder, you know, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this die, I'm going to re-thread, well, first I'm going to get this nut off, right? Because this is seized on there, needs to come off. Then I'm going to take a die, I'm going to re-thread this whole stud, okay? If I re-thread the whole stud, and it's clean threads, that's one part of the problem solved. Then I'm going to take the same size tap, right? Or do I have that backwards? Is it the thing that goes? I don't know which is which, by the way. I don't know if this is a tap or a die, or if, you know, this is the tap or the die. I just know it's a tap and die step. Anyway, I'm going to take each respective tool and do the respective thing with it. I want to say it's a fine thread. Maybe, it might be more coarse. I'll try it a couple more just to double check. But once I figure out exactly what that is and clean up the threads using that, I'm going to take the same thing and I'm going to put it into where the stud should go. Pretty sure I can get away with 3, and if I can get away with 3 on there, then I can figure out what to do about that 4th one, you know. It looked like at some point someone tried to weld some new metal in there to make a hole or something. I don't know, but I'll figure that out. But if I can secure this with 3, and you know, it seals well enough, I'll call it a day and fix that later. I would rather do that on a lift or something. It's a beautiful day out today, and I feel like I'll be able to take care of this. I hope, because if I don't fix this, well, it's going to be a much, much bigger more expensive problem that I can handle. Fingers crossed. Okay, first things first, let's get you out of the way and you out of the way. And then there. Cool. All right, well, trash, you go back. Really happy that I managed to find another blade for that guy because I was not wanting to have to drive to the store today. All right, let's do what I've been saying I was gonna do. I'm gonna try to set this such that it doesn't mess up the threads and get a vise on this guy and just, not a vise, it's a 15 mil. Look at a 15 mil on it. Any of that. Wow, that really doesn't want to come off, huh? It really doesn't want to come out of there. Oh, and I'm just messing up these threads. Damn it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Nope. This one just might be cooked. Like, I don't know how much more hot than red hot you can get. Just touch the hot into that. Oh shit. Oh, it's coming off. Wow. Did not expect that to work like that. Okay. Just let that cool down a bit. So I figured out a lot of interesting stuff while I was gone. Did not end up going to Ace Hardware, or I did, but they didn't have what I needed. But I did learn that the stud was not a 7/16. It was a M10 by 1/2 or 1.5, 150, whatever you want to call it. But it's an M10, it's metric. So I ended up getting myself a metric tap and die set. I also tried to go to Ace to get some studs, but Ace was out. So I ended up going to O'Reilly's, and they had them. I got 2 of them. It was the only 2 they had left in stock. But you can see right here, here's the old one. Here's the new one. Oh, let me flip that around. Here's the new one. They both fit in the same little thread. Like the size chart that they have, you know what I'm talking about? I put this one in there, M10 150. I put this one in there, M10 150. The M10 150 nuts go on here, go on here, like everything fits. They look slightly different, but I'm pretty sure that's just because this one is old. Either way, I got 2 new ones, and I've got the nuts for it too, and some flat washers. So here are the flat washers, M10 flat washers. And then I've got the hex nuts here. So we're just gonna pop these bad boys open, make sure everything fits. And then comes the next part, which is the scary part. The scary part, which is, let's see if I can make the hole that's already in the rotor housing this size. See, you go on just fine. So there's that. And then I've got this one, which goes on perfectly. Got the bolts off the header. Time to pull the header out. Let's clean up the threads for this one. To put that in there. Now I know technically you're supposed to drill a hole first, but there's already a hole here. And I'm pretty sure M10 by 1.5 is the thread size it's supposed to be. So I should just be able to clean up the thread, you know? I shouldn't necessarily have to drill a whole new hole. I think if I tried to drill a whole new hole, it would probably have to be a bigger thread. Okay, there it is. Okay, that's going in very well, actually. This is going much better than I expected. Backing it off every half turn. Oh, I didn't get gasket sealer for the air pump stuff. Okay, that was a good 5 or 6 turns. I'm just gonna back it out. Loctite. Like genuinely, because I really don't want this coming out. Okay. I'd say that's in there. Pretty sure it's like that. Yep. There we go. And then, oh, so very careful. Okay. Let's start with you, since I just put you on. We'll do that one first. Okay. Next, the bottom one. I just had the nuts on here. Where'd they go? Okay. Then you okay. And lastly, ooh, don't you dare. That's right. You stay right there. There we go. And the piece that brings it all together, right here. So, ooh, there's a dust dauber right there. So, the goal here, the old exhaust was stupid loud. I really just want this thing to not be retarded loud. That's it. That's really all there is to it. To do that, pre-silencer. The muffler on it right now is a MagnaFlow. So I've heard good things about those. I don't think the muffler itself is the issue. I think what's the issue is it's an old exhaust system, and it was literally just straight piped, because that other pipe had no sound insulation, deadening, baffling, anything in it. It was literally just like basically a cherry bomb. So my goal is to quiet it down just a bit. Ow. And I've heard Racing Beat is the best when it comes to making Mazda exhausts. I had a Miata at one point. I put a full Racing Beat exhaust on that guy, and it sounded amazing. All right, so I've looked up a picture of the complete system on Racing Beat's website. And it looks like that doohickey right there goes on the other side, but it is on the front, so I just gotta rotate it a little bit. Maybe if I don't wear a hat, I'll get some sun on my bald ass head. Also, I switched to cloth gloves because the plastic ones, it's hot out here, so the plastic ones were like giving me soggy hands. It was gross. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put you on you first. And then I'm gonna make the connecting pipe bit into that. You know, I was looking forward to the warmer weather, genuinely. And, you know, it's nice, but I always forget. I forgot about the bugs. I forgot about all the spiders and the bees. Oh, the bees! Not the bees. Okay, so that's just kind of on there now. Let's see if I can make you fit. I'm gonna take off the donut. I really hope this isn't one of those cases where I have to like take off that side to get it on this side and feed it from the back or something. That would just be lame. I'm really hoping that this just lines up and that there's not a bunch of clearance issues and that stuff isn't hitting other stuff. Okay, now you and you can go back on here, and then I just have to tighten everything up. Okay, let's start tightening everything up. Ow. There we go. Good, good. Oh my goodness. And nothing's hitting anything. Yes. Okay. Moment of truth. Does it start? And how does it sound when it starts? Moment of truth. You are shitting me. God damn it. What's going on with the starter? Dude, for real? Time to grab the hammer, I guess. You know, I thought it just wasn't wanting to start because of it had a slightly dead battery or something, you know? So I charged it up yesterday. It's showing good voltage, so. Please. Time to do some Googling. All right, so good news. I figured out why the starter wasn't working. I'm gonna show you. It took me about 45 minutes of reading diagrams and trying to figure out what makeshift Bobo wiring was going on in here, but this is what's up. There's a ground right here. Move that out of the way, get you in landscape. There's a ground right here underneath the brake line. There's 3 wires that go to it. All 3 of them corroded, all 3 of them were grounding out on the chassis of the vehicle. Basically, it just wasn't a good ground, it was creating more resistance. The battery's fine, the charging system's fine. I tested it with a multimeter. You can see over there, I had the book out, and I had to read through the wiring diagram to figure out where the ground might be, and it was luckily a very easily reachable position right there. I turned the key a little bit, engine started to rotate, cranked over perfectly. I haven't heard it start yet. I'm saving that for the camera. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little microphone here and I'm gonna leave it right here. And that's gonna get a good exhaust note. Let's see how it sounds. Well, there's a small issue. The point between the pre-silencer and the connecting pipe, there's a hole. There's an exhaust leak. You can hear it. Yeah. So, it's not going to sound as good as it should. But on the upside, there used to be an exhaust leak coming from down here, and there isn't anymore. It's nice and quiet up here. In fact, I'm talking in a normal noise, whereas before I would have to kind of yell over it because there was an exhaust note coming from the header. So that is improved. And of course, we know all that rusty crap is gone too. And I got to clean up one of the ground points. Or one of the grounds, 3 of them actually. So that's going to work better. I think that's it for today. I've got some other chores to take care of around the house. Maybe I'll get under there and try to tighten it up, see if I can kill that leak. We'll see. I ordered the muffler. This old MagnaFlow unit's got to go. because it's leaking and it's terrible and it annoys my neighbors and annoys me. I got the car up on jack stands, third point of contact being the jack itself, wheel chocks on both front and rear of the front tires. I don't think this thing's going anywhere. But what I am going to do today is install the connecting pipe in its gasket up to the pre-silencer and install the muffler hanger kit if I can, as well as the associated hardware that goes to the chassis of the vehicle, or body, whatever. The hangers and whatnot. I got instructions right here. I'm going to follow those to the best of my ability. And probably going to have to cut out the old muffler because everything's kind of welded together. We'll see how far I can get with this. I got to do this now because I don't have next weekend off. And the muffler's going to be in right around Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. It's Saturday right now. So I got to make sure that I get prepared for it. So when it comes in, I can take a weekday, like after I get off work, a couple hours, just if it takes a couple hours, I don't know, but a couple hours just to get under there, throw it up in there, and then everything will be good to go. I say we should get to it then. For those of you who may not be aware, grid life is a thing. I went to it at CMP, which is Carolina Motorsports Park, last weekend. It's pretty awesome. If you guys have never been to grid life and you're kind of into grassroots motorsports like I am, and my brother is, great place to go. Fantastic. It's 3 days. You're gonna have to bring cooler, lawn chairs, that kind of thing, but I think the next event is at Road Atlanta. After that, it's Watkins Glen, and then somewhere in Michigan, I know Laguna Seca is in there, but Carolina Motorsports Park in Kershaw, South Carolina. Camden's the historic town right outside of it. There's a cool Revolutionary War museum there, if you've never been. But that's where I got this hat. That's where I got this lanyard. It was cool. We went to go support, of course, all the drivers, because, you know, it's not like we're hating on anybody, but we went there specifically because my brother is a huge Eric Catil fan. Eric Catil, hybrid racing. He does Hondas, and my brother likes Hondas, so, you know, those two are pretty cool. We got to meet him. He signed my brother's shirt. He's a really cool guy, really approachable. All the drivers are really approachable. That's what makes it such a cool event, is that it's just again, grassroots motorsports. All the guys are there. They work a 9 to 5. You know, they're not celebrities. They have some sponsorships, but it's more like to help with parts. It doesn't like pay for their life, if that makes sense. They got to work, and then they take a weekend off to do this season, and then they, you know, take a weekend and then go back the next weekend, and it's really cool. It's tournament bracket racing for different types of tournaments. I've only really just now started to dip my feet into it, but it made me want to go back. So I really think that if any people watching this are super into motorsports, or like you like things like watching old like Bathurst 1000 videos, or rally, or, you know, anything like that, I think that's right up your alley. Especially if you're more into the practical performance side of things than like stancing or, you know, aesthetics only, or sound systems or things like that. You know, if you're like me and you're like, hey, I want something that is reliable and performs well, that I can do myself, those are your people. Anyway, let's put on the eye pro so the rust doesn't go into my eye in 0.37 seconds. And get under there and start seeing what we can see, and, you know, there's no plan. We just get under there and try to do stuff. I know I gotta unbolt a couple things first, and I wanna say it's one of these. I don't know, I don't remember. Let's get under there. I should have jacked it up more, but I was afraid I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, look at that, look at that. Look at that garbage. God, this thing is a bucket. I probably shouldn't have bought it. Oh well. So you can see right there. That is the bit. That's new and shiny that I replaced. And then the old stuff's right there. Giant exhaust leak coming from right in there. That's the old bit. And you can see how the hangers just aren't even attached, and it's all welded together and goes over the rear axle. I'm just gonna cut all this out, replace those hangers. It'll be good. I think that's a pretty decent angle. That's about as good as I'm gonna be able to get, honestly. I know my last couple videos have not been great in terms of like camera work. I'm aware. I'm working on it. Are you a 17? Tell me you're a 17, please, so I don't have to go. You are. Look at you. Can I at least get... Okay, that's tightening. I need to see. There you go. Well, the unbolting part might be easier than I thought, you know? Maybe. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I do not like working on cars under, like when they're sitting up on a, on jack stands. It always makes me nervous, dude. Like, I don't like being where I am right now. Makes me very, very nervous. And I got 3 points of contact, you know. I shook the car, I made sure it was good to go. I know I've seen too many videos of people just getting crushed by cars, I guess. That's a lot easier than fighting with a little hanger donut thing. It's not a bad donut either, but it's certainly... Oh, man, how am I gonna get the other one in? Dude. I have to like grease this thing up. Oh, they did that. They put that down. Right? Probably. Let's see if I can get something on those. I guess if you want to get the hanger of the donut, that's the donut right there. I guess if you want to get the donut hanger down, you got to take care of these two guys right here. I'll see if I can't give you a little vantage point of me doing that. Oh, I think that'll work. See, I'm learning camera angles. Yep, that one's coming. No, I'm gonna need more leverage. Wouldn't have to break out the fire for that one. Okay. Now that that's off, let's get the ratchet back. I really don't expect this to take long. I mean, I'm not gonna do that much. I'm not really a fan of wire in theirs, but I do them all the time. I'm just gonna clean that up, hit it once with a rubberized coating, clean these little guys off, and hit them with some PV and call it a day. In case you were wondering what I'm hitting it with, it's this. I'm gonna give it 15 minutes and hit it with this. Like right here would be optimal. Let's do it right there. Grossness. With that connecting pipe kind of disconnected now, or cut off, you can see how the muffler isn't really supported. There is, you can see them right there, like 2 hangers back to back, trying to do the job, but they're so worn out they can't. And then up in there, that's where they're supposed to hang, up to the body. You can see it's just nothing doing its job. In fact, I think the only thing keeping it in is that one right there. So let's get it out. Yeah, we're gonna try the one holding the hanger to the body instead of the one holding the muffler to the hanger. Because the one holding the muffler to the hanger just rusted off and rounded. And I've got new hardware for everything anyway. It's moving, it's twisting. Yep. That hardware actually isn't too bad. I might be able to reuse that. I can't see that other stud. Another crusty hanger, crusty bolts. Guess I'll clean those up too. This guy is still drying. It'll get there though. I'm gonna reinstall that and the other hook I have over here before I call it a day. Or a night, or whatever. I hit this hook with the same thing. This is the hook that goes on the passenger side of the vehicle that holds up the connecting pipe. I'm hitting that with the same thing as the other one and doing the bolts for it. Might as well, right? While you're in there. So I went back and I read the instructions just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Let me adjust this up. And stay there, thank you. And the instructions clearly said to remove the factory heat shield because the connecting pipe can't work with the factory heat shield. And I saw that when I was in there, that the flange was up against the heat shield, and I was like, it's probably just because it's not all the way bolted in yet, but no, you need to remove that. So I removed that, but in order to remove that, I had to remove this, which is the bracket that holds the muffler to the body. So you can see, it's nasty. So I'm gonna have to reuse this. So we get another while you're in there, where I have to descale, paint, and reinstall this guy. I just gotta get that out. I gotta get this hanger off, and I don't wanna have to risk cutting, so I'm just gonna soak it in PV for the time being. That does not bode well. I feel like that's just gonna round it off. Damn, okay. I just need a vise on that. Okay, that's about as tight as I can get that. Oh brother, I am bending this bracket. All right then. Let's get it nice and hot. Heat. kids. It can't be tight if it's liquid. Really wish I had a sandblaster, but I think that's about as good as that's getting. So I got this guy, the bracket, hung up. I got a lot of the scale off, a lot of the surface rust off. Some bits are bare metal, but just some bits, the wire wheel couldn't get all of it, right? So it looks like hanger 1 and hanger 2 and their associated hardware are done drying and are able to be put back in. So what I'm gonna do is take this guy, dry it off real quick, hit it with its first coat of that rust restoration stuff, and we'll go from there. Rebuilding, restoring, amazing. Absolutely incredible. It's like it's brand new again. Okay. Now these guys, right? You might still need some time, but yeah, you're good. You are good. Good enough, at the very least. This, your hardware, gonna be great. Look at that. So much better. And all the hardware too. Cleaned up. I guess let's go install it then. Just gonna kind of get this finger tight in there. That way I can put the donut on. Make sure that everything fits right. Okay. It should not be a hard thing. Yep. I'm not sure why, but it's just not fitting the same as it did. I didn't... This is dumb. Camera's about to die. I gotta go charge it. Everything's in the car now. I didn't film myself putting in the Racing Beat muffler because it got here right after I got home from work, and I was so excited, and I had very little daylight left that I just wanted to get it up into the car and have it done. So this is the day after that. I haven't started it yet. I haven't heard what it sounds like because I wanted the first to be on camera. I did run into a few issues putting it up in there though. I'll show you what those are. All right, we're gonna start right here. I wanna show you what issues I ran into and how you might be able to get past them. So this is the muffler, obviously, tips in, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. I highly, highly suggest getting the hanger kit from Racing Beat. The hardware they include, the mounting bits, and the rubber hangers are all top notch, and I cannot express enough how much easier it made this install. But the hanging points are where I ran into the most issues, primarily because the car is so old and corroded. Now, the hanging points on the muffler itself are here, here, and then there's a third one a little bit forward and passenger of the pipe. And I'll show you what they look like. So when you get the muffler and the hanger kit, if you get both, which I can't recommend enough, they're gonna provide a few things. They're gonna provide 4 rubber hangers, 3 of these metal hangers, 3 nuts, and 3 bolts. There's gonna be one, I think it's a 55 mil bolt, M8 by 1.25, and then 2 M8 by 1.25 40 mil bolts. The 55 mil bolt is the one that goes here, right? And that goes through these 2 rubber hangers, which are supposed to be doubled up. That's how they're supposed to be. And then it goes into the metal hanger right here, so it secures and tightens everything together. You secure the muffler using the metal bit. On the passenger side back here, similar setup, just with 1 rubber hanger instead of 2. This right here is the bolt that Racing Beat provides in the muffler hanger kit. This bolt is where I had to do a little bit of individual sourcing, because this bolt, as well as this bolt, the bolts that secured the rubber hangers to the chassis of the vehicle itself, those are not provided in the Racing Beat muffler kit, or muffler hanger kit. You're going to want to go to Ace Hardware. All right, if you've got old rusty bolts like I do that broke off or you had to melt out or something, go to Ace Hardware, get yourself some M8 1.25 40 or 45 mil length bolts. Class 10-9 is going to hold up pretty well. Those are what you're going to need in order to secure this. This one I could reuse. I just cleaned it up with a dye and it was fine. This one I had to replace. All right. And then there's a third hanging point, if I can get under here, right there. Now this is right next to the rear passenger shock tower. You can see here I tried to get it in, kinda, a little bit. Actually, that's from something else, my bad. But up here, you can't get the bolt in because it just hits the shock tower here. Now, this is secured. This isn't gonna like fall out or anything. This is welded to this, but you have to take out the shock to be able to put that in, which I'm not doing. So this one just isn't gonna be hung, but it's fine because if you've got everything secured properly up there and you've got everything secured properly up here, this, I'm literally pushing on it as hard as I can, is not moving. So that third hanging point is kind of supplementary and not required. So really, that's it. I guess now it's time to fire this thing up and see how it sounds. Got my Grid Life keychain. Let's do it. Like, the car is noticeably quieter, but it still has a decent rumble on idle. I'll have to see what it sounds like whenever I get it up to, you know, 8,000 RPM. It's gonna be great. But immediately I can tell a difference. Like, I'm talking to you. I'm not, like, before I would have to really like speak and project my voice, but I'm talking at a normal talking voice right now, and I can hear myself. This is awesome. If you're considering getting a Racing Beat exhaust system for your RX7, I cannot recommend it enough already. Like, just the quality of parts, the instructions that come with it, the hardware included, all the support, and like everything was shipped quickly. Like, nothing was delayed. Yeah, solid stuff. 10 out of 10. So I just took it for a drive. I put the driver's seat back in and got a lot of the tools and stuff out just so it wouldn't sling around on me. I took it for a rather spirited drive. Hit red line a few times. The exhaust system sounds great. It's a bit droney. It's just a bit loud for my taste, but like, that's how rotaries are. They're gonna be loud, and there's really not a whole lot you can do about that. I still love the way that this sounds, right? When you're not on it, like when you're just coasting or idling, or when you're just kind of cruising, it's not really that loud at all, right? I also had the windows down, and so I probably got more of it than you would if you had the windows up. I did discover a newer issue, though. Fuel starvation. So something's going on. Either the bowls aren't filling up as quick as it might be a fuel pump. It's probably a fuel pump, because I already cleaned and rebuilt that carburetor. So not likely a carburetor issue. But it's after, let's just say, sustained high load, which I was during this drive. It did fuel starve and start to cut out and bog down, and it took pumping the gas pedal, getting the accelerator pump to squirt more fuel in. It took that to keep it from dying, and just kind of, I drove it home, and once it stopped, after like 15 seconds of just normal easy driving, the sputter stopped and was normal again. And that's happened a few times before today, but today was the most pronounced it's been, probably because I was really getting on it. So that leads me to my next question. Now that the exhaust is done, do I start focusing on fuel pump and carburetor upgrade? Or do I leave well enough alone for now and just kind of, focus on the interior and other quality of life things in the vehicle, like a stereo? I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this vehicle yet. Isn't it exciting? You get all these different ideas and you're not quite sure what you want to do yet. I appreciate everybody who's watched, everybody who's helped, and if you feel like seeing more of me trying to just make this thing something that's nice to have and fun to pass on, hit that subscribe button, like, and I'll see you again.